Hi, my name is Terry, and you're watching Terry Tells the Story. Today, we're talking about the Blackbeard Chronicles. Forget the rum-soaked caricatures. Discard the Hollywood swashbuckler. To understand Blackbeard, the infamous pirate who terrorized the Atlantic, you must first understand the man who created him, Edward Teach. This wasn't a story of mindless brutality. It was a masterclass in psychological warfare. A meticulously crafted persona designed to paralyze fleets and bend governments with nothing more than fear and smoke. Born likely Edward Thatch, or perhaps Edward Drummond, in Bristol, England, around 1680, his early life was a blank slate, which ironically made him the perfect canvas for the monster he would become. We know he cut his teeth as a privateer during Queen Anne's War, a legal pirate commissioned to harass French shipping. But when the war ended in 1714, Thatch, like thousands of other sailors, found himself unemployed, skilled in violence and adrift in a world with little use for his talents. This was the genesis of piracy's golden age, a perfect storm of economic hardship, ex-military sailors, and vast unprotected wealth on the high seas. Thatch drifted to New Providence in the Bahamas, a lawless republic run by pirates. It was here, under the tutelage of the notorious Benjamin Hornigold, that Edward Thatch began his ascent. Hornigold, recognizing a formidable intelligence in Thatch, gave him command of a captured sloop. But Thatch was no mere underling. He watched, he learned, and he began to formulate a strategy that would elevate him far above simple brigandage. In late 1717, Thatch captured a massive French merchant vessel, La Concorde, laden with gold dust, jewels, and, crucially, a large arsenal of cannons. This wasn't just a prize, it was his stage. He refitted it, increasing its armament to 40 guns, and renamed her the Queen Anne's Revenge. But the true transformation was not just in the ship, it was in the man. Edward Thatch disappeared. In his place emerged Blackbeard. This wasn't just a nickname, it was a carefully constructed brand. He cultivated a wild, untamed appearance. His signature move was weaving slow-burning hemp fuses into his prodigious black beard and hair, lighting them before boarding. He was a towering figure, well over 6 feet tall, emerging from the smoke and chaos of a broadside, his face weathered in dark, acrid fumes, embers growing ominously in his hair. To a superstitious 18th century sailor, this wasn't just a man, it was a literal demon straight from hell. This terrifying visage was his most potent weapon. Why spill blood when the mere sight of you could cause a crew to surrender? Blackbeard understood the power of psychological warfare before the term was even coined. His reputation alone was enough to make ships strike their colors. He rarely had to fight prolonged battles. He preferred intimidation to bloodshed, not out of mercy, but out of pragmatism. A damaged ship yielded less plunder. A dead crew couldn't be ransomed or coerced. His efficiency lay in terror. His masterpiece of psychological dominance came in May 1718. With the Queen Anne's Revenge and 3 smaller vessels, Blackbeard sealed off one of the busiest ports in British North America. He didn't just rob ships, he held an entire colony hostage. For nearly a week, no vessel entered or left Charleston Harbor. The city's economy ground to a halt. And his ransom was not gold, not silver. Blackbeard's crew was suffering terribly from scurvy and syphilis. He demanded a chest of high-grade medicine. He proved he could bring an entire colonial government to its knees, not with cannon fire, but with the calculated threat of economic strangulation, all for bandages and mercury. This wasn't a pirate, it was a strategic mastermind. He was a master of control, not just over his enemies, but over his own men. While his public persona was monstrous, within his crew, Blackbeard fostered a peculiar form of democracy. Articles of agreement dictated shares of plunder, and even compensation for injuries. But even this was underscored by his unpredictable and terrifying presence. Legend has it he once shot his own first mate, Israel Hans, in the knee under the table during a drunken dinner. When asked why, Blackbeard reportedly replied, "If I didn't kill one of you every now and again, you'd forget who I was." This act, whether fully true or embellished, perfectly illustrates his philosophy. Maintain an edge of absolute arbitrary power to keep his men in line. Blackbeard was more than a pirate. He was the embodiment of anarchy, a walking advertisement for chaos. He didn't just sail the seas, he haunted them. And as his legend grew, so too did the desperation of the authorities to bring him down. But how do you capture a ghost? How do you kill a living legend? Find out tomorrow in part 2 of the Blackbeard Chronicles. So the Spanish I'm going to be teaching you today is Contra Viento y Marea. Contra Viento y Marea. And that literally translates to against wind and tide. And it's used to mean against all odds, no matter what happens. If you liked this video or you learned something new, drop a like down below. If you have a specific topic that you'd like to see me cover, drop me a comment. And if you'd like to support this work that I do, there'll be a link to the Cash App in the description box below. We'll see you next time.